All right, fats. So keto, the keto lifestyle is about 80% fats. But the important thing is to make sure we have the good fats and not the shit fats. So Lynn, give us a quick 60-second summary of the good fats and what are we looking for?
Sure. So you want to include a range of fats into your diet, monounsaturated plant fats and saturated fats from things like coconut oil. So quick run through. Things like butter, amazing staple.
Organic, grass-fed.
If you can't have butter and you're allergic to casein or lactose, go for something like a grass-fed ghee. It's a clarified butter and it's much gentler on your system, anti-inflammatory, great to cook with high smoke point.
Good for wrinkles.
We can go for the coconut oil. So coconut oil, amazing in your desserts, amazing in your cooking, high smoke point, great saturated fat, antimicrobial, antifungal, wonderful all-round fat to include in lots of things, including your bulletproofs. Olive oil, beautiful olive oil taken from olives, pressed mechanically, amazing in your salads, good unsaturated fat and include it every day, increases your HDL cholesterol.
The holy grail of keto.
Things like coconut cream, coconut milk, make sure they've got no additives, wonderful addition. Cacao butter, an alternative way to get your saturated fats if you can't have the animal produce or you're allergic to dairy. And then the last one is your MCT, boosts your ketones, get the right variety, but wonderful if you're on the keto lifestyle and especially if you're in transition.
So enjoy your fats and enjoy your Peaks life.
Stay tuned to find out more about the keto fats and oils that are great to include in your diet.
All right, and welcome back to the Peaks Life. And today, exciting day. We're in the Peaks kitchen, which is always exciting because it's all about food and we get to eat stuff, don't we?
Oh, we do.
We do.
We like that.
Now,
we like to eat.
Today is a really important topic, and one of the reasons why, if I said to you, in your diet, 75% of the foods fit within one category, you'd kind of really want to know what the right foods and what the wrong foods were to make sure you're eating the right foods that made up 75% of your diet. So we are talking fats and we're talking keto, and there's a very, very large amount of fat in our diet, and we sometimes make the mistake of choosing the wrong fat and we then defeat all the good work we've put into our keto planning. So today we're going to go through the fats.
We are.
Lynn's going to walk us through each of the fats that are the keto approved fats, the reason why. We're also going to touch on the ones that aren't approved. So we're really, really clear on what makes up that large proportion of your diet. So welcome, Lynn.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
All right, so the good and the bad. What's the good and the bad? How are we going to start this one?
The good, the bad and the ugly, I guess. So if we think about good fats, we're going to walk through the good fats in a minute. And there's a range of animal fats and there's a range of plant fats.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you're comfortable eating animal products or not. There are plenty of good fats that you can have.
Absolutely.
But before we get on to the good ones, let's just get rid of the bad ones.
Okay. So for those people tuning in on the podcast, this is all audio and we're just going to explain everything to you. For those people actually viewing this on YouTube, which is another way to look at our information, you'll be able to actually see what we're demonstrating here as well. So hopefully both of the people tuning in, the listeners, will be able to get the best experience. So we'll be talking over everything we're demonstrating.
We sure will. So look, let's go into those bad fats, the ones that you really don't want to be eating. And they're essentially the industrial seed oils. That's the big category. So essentially they've come from plants originally. So they're things like safflower, sunflower, canola, maybe even some of the the other ones that you get in the supermarket. You'll find them on the supermarket shelf when you go to the oil section.
Yes.
They take up a very big area in the oil section. They're often in great big containers. And they're typically the oils that you put into your deep fat fryer. The reason is because they can withstand very high temperatures, and they were marketed way back as being the sort of oil that you could use and reuse, so they're very economical.
Yes.
However, even though they came from plants once upon a time, they don't resemble anything like a plant anymore. So they've been refined. They use chemicals to derive the oil from the plant because those plants don't like to give up their oils.
Bash them.
So they have to do more than bashing them. Bashing them is good. The problem is when you blast chemicals at them to extract the oil and then you refine it. You put it through multiple chemical processes.
Right.
Now, who wants to eat chemicals? Nobody wants to eat chemicals, but that's what they're doing. They're basically using solvents to extract a lot of the oils.
So what I've done, because I love to make up good keto phrases, we've got the good fats, which you're going to go through. I'm going to call all the ones that sit outside the keto diet called the shit fats.
Shit fats.
So if there's anything that Lynn doesn't go through on the good side, let's give it a name and let's say they're the shit fats. Okay. And if you're eating lots of shit fats, you're not really in the keto diet, and you're probably not in ketosis, and you're certainly not doing good things for your body.
Now, here's a quick digression.
Shit fats.
What do they do in China and some countries like Indonesia?
They take the shit fats out of the drain.
They do. Now, this is a true story, and
it's not a very nice story.
You heard it here first. Basically, in a lot of countries like China, some parts of Indonesia, other parts of the world.
Plumbing.
And sorry, if you are tuning in from those countries, do look into these practices because you know it happens. They basically take where restaurants have discharged their waste fats, so the shit fats that have been used and they're no longer needed, they discharge them into drains. Those drains run along the streets and people are employed to go and dig those drains out overnight. They dig them out, they take them back to a recycling facility, they basically boil them up, they get rid of all the nasties out, and they take the oil and they sell that back to the restaurants.
It's beautiful.
So
it's recycling.
Next time you're at a restaurant, think very carefully about where the fats have come from.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what it is, if it doesn't have a name that you can pronounce, if it's a mixture, if it says it's blended, if it's one of the evil five, like I said, the sunflowers, the safflowers, the canolas, those sort of oils, if it's basically junk food, it's highly likely to have used one of those, and you really don't want them in your diet. And I think that's all we want to say about them.
The cheap and cheerful, highly processed oils.
Exactly.
The shit fats.
The shit fats.
So let's move away from the shit fats.
And let's talk about the good fats.
Because for some people out there still have a percentage of shit fats, so really it's important. And it's really important for your wellness. Get rid of those out of your diet, not just because you want the better fats in your diet, but the shit fats are full of chemicals and are heavily processed and will damage your body. And we're talking about the wellness for your body. So let's move over to the good side.
There is. So Mike, you've got a job.
I do.
Some of our fats are heat sensitive, so can you just pop to the fridge?
Yes.
And pick out the couple that are in there?
Sure. The good fats.
Yeah, we've got, that's it, top shelf there, the butter.
And
we got the fish oil in there.
Oof, we love our fish oil.
Not that one.
This one here.
Yeah, the little
Beautiful.
one. Now the little one.
So much oil. So much oil. So much oil. All right, this one here.
Cool, this is
More
the
oils
one.
here.
Lots of oils.
75% of this fridge is fat, you know that?
It is. 75% of my pantry is fat. All right, so where are we going to start, Mike?
Well, let's go with animal fats first of all, because they make up, and probably they're more familiar for people.
Sure.
So let's walk through the good fats in the animal fat category.
Cool.
And for those people listening in, we'll explain in a fair bit of detail what's in them and why we use those ones.
Let's do it.
Sure. Where do you want to go first?
All right, let's start on that side. So we're going to start with butter.
So just ignore the brands, guys. We just got a selection of brands. We're not endorsing the brands or saying they're the best ones, but Lynn will talk you through why it's important to get organic grass-fed butters and things like that. But any brands we've got here is nothing to do with our recommendation. They're just examples of the products available.
Yeah, no sponsorship at all
No sponsorship.
in this.
Unless you want to send us money, feel free.
So what we've got here is an organic grass-fed butter. Now, butter is basically around about 80 to 85% pure fat.
Yum.
The remainder is a little bit of milk. So if you are lactose or casein intolerant, especially lactose intolerant, you could still have some problems with butter, but we are talking a really small percentage that's in there. Essentially, it is just good milk fat. And you know what we've got there is, because it's grass-fed, we're going to get lots of vitamin K, which is quite difficult to get from other sources. And we're also going to get CLA, so conjugated linoleic acid, and lots of other really good nutrients. So butter is a wonderful product. You can put it onto your vegetables, you can put it into your bulletproof coffees. It makes delicious meals. If you're going to cook and you want, basically a fat that's not going to smoke or burn, Butter has a nice high smoke point, about 350 F. And so it's really good for high temperature cooking, and it really does make the dishes taste good.
And you can rub it on your wrinkly bits. It does no good at all, but it feels great.
I'm not sure. I think it would do some
I'm sure
good.
I would. It's a keto hack.
You just might have a few of the animals coming to
It's
lick
not working
it off.
for me. I rub it on every night. All right, so that's butter. That's
the
grass-fed
butter.
organic butter. And that is probably one of the staples of the keto diet because we've got so many applications, both in hot and cold foods and coffees, where we can apply the butter. But if you don't like butter, or if you want an alternative, which is what I use in my Bulletproof.
You do.
Yes.
Ghee. So the next one is ghee. So ghee is essentially made from the same thing that butter is made from. It's the milk fats. There's only one difference with ghee. What they do is they take essentially the butter, but they heat it. And when they heat it, the lactose and the casein are taken away. So what you're left with is simply the clarified butter or just that milk fat. So if you are sensitive to lactose, and Mike, you're a little bit sensitive.
I'm a sensitive guy.
Sure, nobody believes that. But if you are sensitive to lactose or casein, you can't have dairy products, then you'll probably be fine with ghee because there's nothing left in that apart from the pure fat itself. The other advantage of ghee, apart from the fact it's more anti-inflammatory than butter is, the other benefit is it's got an even higher smoke point, so it's even better, to cook with. So its smoke point is well over 400 F, and it means that again you can use quite high temperatures without a risk of it burning and forming compounds that you don't want in your body. So ghee's wonderful. It does taste a bit different. Not everybody enjoys it. It is an acquired taste, but wonderful in your bulletproofs. Again, wonderful in your baked products, and great to cook with.
Excellent. So we've got butter and ghee, and then there's some other animal fats to discuss.
There are, so don't have examples of them here today, but there are some really good traditional animal fats that I strongly recommend you try out if you haven't tried them before. And they're basically the fat that gets left over from when we've cooked meat or bones, for any length of time. So I'm going to talk about four main fats. The first one is tallow. So tallow, T-A-L-L-O-W, and that comes from cows. So it's cow fat. It's not cow fat in its raw state. I just want to be really careful that people don't think we're eating raw cow fat. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be very nice. But this is essentially when we've boiled up the cow bones or any kind of cut of cows that is quite gelatinous and fatty. If we put them in, say, a slow cooker or on the stove top for a long period of time, and we cook them down and we break down all of that gristle and the bone and the cartilage, we're usually left with a beautiful broth, and on top of the broth we'll get a layer of fat. And that layer of fat, if you take it off, it's usually quite nice and white in colour, and that is tallow. So that again is a wonderful fat. If you're going to use it in cooking, you need to render it, and that means you just basically cook it up a second time, and that will remove any water from it. You could then use it for frying. So delicious steak made in tallow. So if I cook my steak up, take a frying pan, put some tallow in, it's got an incredibly high smoke point. I will heat the tallow and then I'll cook my steaks in that, and you get a wonderful crispy outside on your steak and a melt in the mouth juicy inside. So wonderful for cooking, amazing for the skin. You can put tallow on your skin. Once you've rendered it, it's got no smell, it's got no taste, and it really is a very versatile fat. So great for cooking, great for the skin.
Excellent.
So that's tallow. We've got the same, but from pigs, and that's what we call lard, L-A-R-D, lard. And lard, if you've ever cooked bacon, you know that a lot of fat comes out. A lot of that fat in the bacon basically goes into a liquid. And when you clean down your frying pan or your barbecue or your air fryer afterwards, you get a thick layer of white fat in the bottom. That is lard. And again, just like the tallow, it's an amazing fat to use in cooking, especially when you've got bacon fat. It's got that delicious smoky flavour to it. So again, render it down, make sure you've got all the water and bits and pieces out of it. then you can store that in the fridge for a couple of weeks and use it for your roasts. Again, use it for cooking delicious dishes. So amazing, again, very versatile, high smoke point and easy to use.
Good. Cow, pig, and
Got a couple of others. Duck and goose.
And whatever a goose
What does a
makes.
goose do?
Goose noises.
So duck and goose, very rich fats, so not ones that you find often, but if you do, I recommend buying duck and goose fat. In the old days when we ate starches, I would have roasted up my potatoes, but now in the new keto world, you could roast your radishes, for example. You make delicious roast radishes, put it on your vegetables, cook up your stir fries with
delicious.
it. And again, another amazing fat. Do things like duck confit, where you double cook your duck in its own fat. So those two are really amazing, rich, tasty fats to use.
All right, so we've done the animal fats. We'll put those to one side. Let's start with the plant-based fats. And of course, the holy grail of keto fats is olive oil.
Olive oil. So olive oil, really, really good fat. And basically what we're looking for when we buy our olive oil, in fact, when we buy any of these, I always try to spend my money wisely on fats. And if I'm going to get organic of anything, I like to get organic fats. So I'm getting the best quality. Second thing to think about when you're buying your olive oil is to buy a high quality extra virgin oil. So this one that I've got is an extra virgin. It's a Spanish olive oil. So it's a bit peppery in its flavour, a bit sort of grassy compared to, say, the Italian type of olive oil or the Napa Valley. Now, the reason we're going to choose the extra virgin is because this comes from the first pressing. The way that we make olive oil is they take olive and they crush them in big mechanical presses, and those mechanical presses extract the oils. The extra virgin, as I said, it's that first pressing, so it's the best quality. It's got all of the antioxidants, all of the beautiful, wonderful flavours in there. If you go for perhaps a virgin olive oil, you might see that it says on the bottle that it's refined or that it's blended. That means you've got a whole range of different olive oils have gone in there. It'll be the last of the press, it'll be the least quality. So go for those cold press. Cold press means they haven't heat extracted the oil, so they haven't damaged it. It's a delicate oil. Cold pressed, extra virgin is what you want. And amazing health benefits. Not an oil to cook with, in my view. If you're going to do short, fast cooking at a low temperature, it's okay. Add it to your cooked dishes, that's okay. Keeping the temperature down, but wonderful on your salads, wonderful on your vegetables. And you can just literally take a spoonful. And one of the amazing things about olive oil is that it's very good at raising the good cholesterol. So we all know that the HDL cholesterol is the one that cleans out your arteries, and it's really important. So we want high levels of HDL cholesterol. This is an absolute wonder for increasing cholesterol, the HDL type specifically in the body. So include lots of olive oil. Don't only use the animal-based fats. Get the olive oil into your diet. Beautiful plant-based oil, and really will help your cholesterol profile.
All right, another oil that we love, and there's a few different types, is of course the olive oil, the coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
I've got two here. So I've got regular coconut oil and I've got liquid coconut oil. I'm just going to talk about the regular one first. Now, coconut oil is a saturated fat, so it sits in the same sort of category as butter, which is a saturated fat, compared to the olive oil, where we're talking about more of a monounsaturated fat. So slightly different in its fat profile, but we're not going to get technical today.
No, very simple.
The only thing you need to know is to include a range of fats. Don't only go for one or the other, because you want the benefits of them all. So here we've got a nice saturated fat. Again, coconut oil is really good to cook with. It's got a high smoke point, so it's heat resistant. So you can cook, you can fry with it, you can do all sorts with it, very versatile. It's also an amazing one to eat just as it is. So just like the olive oil, different properties, but really good for you as well. It's reported to have lots of antimicrobial and antifungal properties. Now, whether you believe that or not is a separate question, but no doubt it's a great fat to include. Now, again, very, very similar to the olive oil. What you want to be looking for is a cold pressed extra virgin coconut oil. Virgin is okay, but again, getting the extra virgin means you've got the first pressing, you've got the best oil. Cold pressed means they've simply removed the oil from the coconut by crushing it. So they take the coconuts, they take the outer shell off, and they crush them in big mechanical presses. And all that happens is the flesh gets crushed.
Yes.
You get that dry flesh coming off that we often buy in packets.
Yes.
And we're left with the coconut oil itself. So it's not refined, it's got no chemicals, no solvents in there. And what you'll see typically is in temperatures that are winter temperatures, it'll usually be a solid, so this one's solid at the moment. And as it gets up to the higher temperatures in summer, then it will go to a liquid. So an amazing oil. We can use it in lots of things. We use it in desserts, we put it onto our chia pudding, we cook with it, we add it to various dishes, put it in your bulletproof. Really good oil. Just something to watch out for. Don't buy deodorized.
Oh, yes.
Now, when I open this and I have a sniff, oh, smell that, Mike. You get that beautiful coconut smell. And when we taste it, it will be oily, but we'll also get the coconut flavour.
Absolutely.
You actually want that. So if you don't like that taste or smell, coconut oil maybe isn't the one for you. The reason you don't want the deodorized variety is because they will have used solvents. They'll have used chemicals to extract some of the coconut oil that gives it the smell and the flavour. And really, who wants coconut oil that's been extracted with chemicals?
It doesn't smell like coconut.
Yeah, so that's an amazing, fresh, beautiful product.
So that's the regular, and this
That's
is
our
the
regular. Now we've got a second variety you may see on the supermarket shelves, and it's coming up more and more, and I get asked a lot of questions about this. We see things advertised as either liquid coconut oil, and sometimes they're advertised as MCT, which I'll get onto in a second. Now this one is a liquid coconut oil. Now all that means is that at any temperature this will stay liquid, and for those who can see this, we can see the liquid in the bottle. It won't solidify as the regular stuff will, so it makes it really useful when you're adding it to cold dishes.
Yes.
You don't get that hard clump of coconut oil on the top. All they've done is they've taken out some of the coconut oil, so it probably is a touch refined, but it's not too bad. And it's really handy, for example, if you're traveling, you just want to take a little bottle of it, you want to put it in your handbag for the ladies or your briefcase, and you're going to use it to top up your coffee when you've gone out for a coffee. So it's really useful. It doesn't have quite the same properties as the regular coconut oil, but it's a useful addition to the pantry.
Excellent. Add it to the family.
Add it to the family, indeed.
Right. So we're going to coconut cream next.
We are. And coconut cream, again, you buy it in tins, so you can probably hear the noise there. What we've got in this tin is essentially coconut cream and a touch of water. Now, it's made in the same way. We've taken the coconut and we've crushed it, and from the flesh we've got some nice coconut cream. So you've got a bit of the flesh left in, and you've got a bit of the coconut left in. So essentially they crush it and then they blend it, and they blend it with water, and they extract the coconut cream, they take the flesh away. So when you get real coconut cream that hasn't got lots of additives, do you know what colour it is, Mike?
It would be a grey or clear.
Grey.
Grey, it is grey, so it's
right,
close.
first time.
Well done.
So it is grey. It's a grey in colour, so when you open your can of coconut cream, don't be put off if it's a grey colour. That's actually really good. If it's bright white, I would suggest it's got additives or it's been bleached in some way. This is an amazing product to use in things like curries, Thai dishes. Put it into your pudding. So chia pudding is beautiful with some coconut cream.
Bulletproof.
Put it in your bulletproof coffee. It'll make a lovely creamy bulletproof coffee. So again, very versatile fat. Lots of saturated fat in there. Couple of things to watch out for. Brand I'm using here, I'm not going to recommend the brand, but it's got no preservatives. It's got no additives. It's actually got no added water. So it's just The water in there is just taken from when it was blended and extracted. They haven't added water to dilute it. It's gluten-free and it's got a BPA lining. So whenever you're using a canned product, you really want to be looking for BPA free, because again, we don't want those chemicals leaching out into our fats, and they do often leach very quickly. So this one's a good one because it's got no additives. When I look at the ingredients, if I can find the ingredients on this one, there we go. What it says is coconut kernel extract 100%. There are no other additives in here. Now, many of your coconut creams and coconut milks are going to have guar gum in them. They're going to have preservatives. They might have other thickeners like xanthan gum. Things that you really don't want in your diet. They're not necessarily bad, but they're not good for us either.
And they often have a lot of sweeteners because coconut cream is used in a lot of sweet dishes and desserts.
Well, that's another one.
Yeah.
There's another category again. I mean, this is just a coconut cream, but you do get the sweetened variety.
Which we don't want.
So you don't want the sweetened variety either. So buy your regular coconut cream. Look for either the organic or the ones that say they're 100% natural and no additives in them.
Beautiful. All right. Going to MCT or cacao butter?
No, we're going for MCT because it's our last coconut product.
Right.
So let's finish off the coconut family, and what you can see is we've actually got a lot of different coconut products, and it's a very useful fat. It's a great addition to the diet if you enjoy it and if you tolerate it. Now, MCT is a bit of a special one. It's the only refined oil that you'll hear us recommend. And what MCT is, there's a lot of confusion, but MCT is simply where we've taken our coconut oil and we've removed a very small fraction of it that is very beneficial when you're on a keto diet. So in the coconut oil, there are these medium chain triglycerides, MCTs. And these medium chain triglycerides are really amazing at boosting your ketone levels. So when they go into the body, they're not processed by the liver in the same way that our other fats are. They go straight into the bloodstream and they basically generate more ketones very, very quickly. So if you want a boost of ketones, if you're just transitioning onto keto and you want to get yourself into ketosis, these are amazing. You put them in your bulletproof coffee, pop them on a salad, put them on your vegetables. There's just a couple of really important points about how to use
really
them.
Important.
Really
so
important.
hang on to your toilet paper, little hint, while you listen to these couple of really important points.
All right, so I'm going to get technical first of all. When I look at coconut oil, I've essentially got 4 different MCTs. So there are 4 medium chain triglycerides in coconut oil.
Right.
The first one is called caprylic acid, and that's a C6. Anybody technical, any chemists out there, it's a C6. So it's got 6 carbon atoms in its molecule. The second one is C8, which is capric acid. Third one is, C8 is caprylic acid, C10 is capric acid, and then C12 is lauric acid. So we got the 4, C6, C8, C10, C12. All right, now first of all, C12, it's not really an MCT. All right, so they tell us it's an MCT, it's actually not. The lauric acid there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not the one that boosts your ketones. The ones that boost your ketones the best are the C8 and the C10, so the caprylic and the capric. Now, the best one out of those is the C8. It will work really fast to boost your ketones high.
Yep.
The effects are short-lived. So I like to have a combination of C8 and C10. So this particular oil that I'm using has got C8 and C10 in about a 60%, 40% ratio. What I know is it's going to give me a nice kick of ketones. So when I have my bulletproof on a morning, nice kick of ketones, but I've got a bit of C10 in there so it'll last a touch longer for the endurance. So it gives me both benefits. What this one doesn't have, and the one you've got to watch out for, is C6. C6 is really the one that we don't want. C6 is caproic acid, and it's the one responsible for what we call disaster pants.
You know what we're talking
Disaster
about.
pants.
All these people out there nodding, going, disaster pants.
That's what happens. So, disaster pants. Let me describe disaster pants. You've had a bulletproof coffee. Somebody says to you, I've put MCT in it and I've put some coconut oil in, and that hits your body straight away, and you find yourself rushing to the bathroom with diarrhea. And it's uncontrollable. So it's called disaster pants because if you don't get there in 5 seconds flat,
Disaster.
you might have disaster pants.
Nasty.
So C6 caproic acid is the one that's responsible for the disaster pants. And the reason is it irritates the gut. So what you've got to be really careful of when you buy your MCT is it's nice and pure, hence it's a refined oil. It's nice and pure and it's had all of that C6 taken out because you do not want disaster pants. You want the C8 and the C10. So just in case I ran through those and I gave you the wrong names, I'm just going to recap because it's a bit complicated. So C6, caproic acid.
Bad.
You do not want it. Bad. C8 is wonderful. You want that one. That's caprylic acid. C10, you want that one. It's capric acid. C12 is lauric acid. I'm pretty ambivalent. It's not going to do you any harm, but it's not the one that boosts your ketones. So your ideal is that mix of the C8, C10, caprylic, capric acids.
Good.
Was that clear?
It was clear. It was very clear. And for a lot of people out there, I'm sure, are now a little bit clearer on why they get the response they do from MCTs. And unfortunately, there's a lot of MCT products out there, so you really do need to read the label because it's a big market in the keto world.
It is.
And obviously, if they can make a larger volume, have less of those important ketones, or the best important MCTs in there, then they will. So make sure you're getting good value for money. Yeah.
It is, and there's actually two other things I just need to mention. If I look at the difference between this liquid coconut oil and the MCTs, this liquid coconut oil is on the shelves, and what it says is it's MCT 100% pure. And it says 4 times more MCTs than liquid coconut oil. It doesn't mean it's MCT oil. All it means is they've taken a bit out of the coconut oil, the bit that makes it go solid, so the more saturated fats, and they're left with still a big range of coconut oil in there. So that is not an MCT, but you might get fooled by the label. You're looking for the pure MCTs derived from coconuts. And when you do use it, because it's highly refined and it really does hit your system and it's very powerful, go very easy. When you start, a teaspoon, you heard it right, a teaspoon is enough. Build up, you should be able to get to half an ounce or about 15 mils should be where you can get to with your MCT. So sort of a dessert spoon, maybe a tablespoon. You don't want to go much more than that because again, it will probably irritate your stomach. So amazing product, but use in moderation. And it's also pretty expensive.
All right, so we've done the plant fats. Here's the plant fat family.
Well, we've got one more plant fat
yes,
to go.
I'm making a little display.
Beautiful, Mike, beautiful. So the last plant fat is this one, and it's it's cacao fat, it's cacao butter. And I'm including this one for a couple of reasons. This is completely solid at room temperature.
Great.
So even when we get a really hot day, it's not going to melt like our butter, which is going to have to go back in the fridge pretty soon. So it's very portable, brilliant to take on your travels.
Yes.
Yeah. Take it on the plane, you're not going to have any problem transporting it as a liquid because it is a solid. And it is extracted from the cacao pod, so the same place we get our chocolate. In chocolate we've got a few different components, but this is the fat part of the cacao pod. They're basically just extracting it in the same way that we do with the coconut, and we're getting the pure cacao butter. It's essentially got no flavour, it's got no smell, and it means that if you're one of those people who is allergic or intolerant to lactose and dairy products, but you want to have a nice saturated fat to go in your bulletproof coffee, maybe you don't like coconut oil, cacao butter could be a really good alternative. Great for women, very kind on the system, very gentle, really nice anti-inflammatory fat, and it is just pure fat. When I look at the label, we've got basically 100 grams of fat in 100 grams of product. So there's nothing else in there. Now it comes in big solid blocks. So it's not very easy to use, but this one that I've got is drops.
Little nibs.
Little, and I get a few out. What you'll see is they look like chocolate buttons.
And you can actually...
I just knew you would just take some.
You put an almond on top and pop them in, beautiful fat, a little bit of crunch from the almond, you've got an absolute brilliant fat bomb.
You've got a
on the move.
That's it. You don't need to do anything with it, all pre-prepared. So cacao butter is a really useful fat to include in your list as well.
I'll help you out and put these ones back in the bag. Just watch me.
Sure.
Get that back here. And you're one more, so if we finish the plant fats, there's one more to have a look at, which is the fish oils.
There is.
Well,
so the last one I'm going to talk about is cod liver oil. I'll leave you eating the cacao butter, Mike.
just helping.
That's it. Cod liver oil and fish oils. So they're not the sort of thing that you're going to use in your cooking. They're not the sort of thing you're going to add to your meals. But if you do want to get some omega-3s, then perhaps a high quality fish oil is good to include in your diet, maybe a teaspoon a day. And if you're not sure you're getting enough vitamin A and vitamin D, then cod liver oil is a good one to add in. And again, you're looking for maybe a quarter or half a teaspoon of a very, very high quality oil. And even though I'm not generally recommending products, this is a Rosita product. It's very, very pure. Does mean it's refined. It's very pure. It's got no nasties in it. It's got none of the nasties that we find in the sea. There should be no mercury. It's tested. Every batch is tested. Needs to be kept cold. Needs to be kept in your fridge. Very expensive. But if you are going to put cod liver oil in the diet, I'd be recommending this one. I don't anymore recommend the fermented cod liver oil, and if you Google that, there's lots of issues around it. So go for a nice, pure, very well tested cod liver oil and boost your vitamin A and your vitamin D levels.
Excellent, so a wealth of information there. Now, where we started this is, on the keto lifestyle, a large percentage of our diet is fats. So it makes really good sense to first of all understand what fats are good, understand the shit fats, which are often cheap, cheerful, highly processed, got lots of additives, and what not to have. And if you are putting the good fats in, making sure you have a good balance of the good fats and understanding the purpose and the application of each one.
That's it.
So great information. Enjoy your fat fest.
Enjoy your fats. 80% of your diet is what you're aiming for. Lots of options here for you to choose from.
I might have another one of these.
Sure.